everybody.
Hi, Doug.
Hi, everybody.
See, you knew the joke. I knew the joke before we even restarted.
So I want to show everybody my art because I've been bored sitting here waiting, and I was looking at the thumbnail, and I drawed something. See, I drawed a Ferengi.
You drawed it.
Isn't that good?
Yeah. Like I said to you, it looks like a young Ferengi, like a mid-20s, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you.
Good stuff. So
all right, guys.
Deserve a like for his drawing.
Yes, hit a like for my drawing. Yes.
Not necessarily for the episode, but for the drawing.
Oh,
but obviously, that is up to you.
Wait. We have 2 super chats to start, which is great.
That is indeed super.
We've got Olivia Julius with
Hi,
$2. And she says, I'm here, Jeff Jacobs, don't worry. I guess Jeff was freaking out, maybe? I don't know.
Happy having Boxing Birthday.
Yes, yes.
Did you see all of our comments yesterday at the end?
No, I didn't.
No, her.
Oh. Yeah, go check the comments for the last little bit. Ozzy Maderos, $10. Oh. All hail the great commander and Captain Foley. Yeah, and I had 3 people today message me saying, oh, sorry I missed your birthday yesterday. I'm like, what? My birthday is the 28th, but okay. I don't know why.
What was their reaction to your...
They're like, oh, good, I didn't miss it. Okay, good stuff.
Thanks for not missing it, because you were the wrongest person. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so it is the 28th, guys. It is the 28th.
And will he be doing a live birthday stream?
Yeah, but do something. I don't know what.
So I know, like I said, we did a joint one last year. I'm trying to do at least like a joint drunk one, because that was.
Well, yours is when? Like June 7th?
Yeah.
Ooh, see, I remembered.
It's good. Very good.
It's good. It's good.
Well, that is
When's mine?
Sorry.
When's mine?
28th, you just said. So I take no credit for that. As you know, I'm awful at dates. Like, you know, I just... Yeah. Numbers and dates aren't good for me.
Olivia puts in $2 and says, "No, I was kind of sad you didn't sing."
Really?
All right, I'm gonna start singing now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Olivia Julius. Hashtag Picard Fertilizers. Happy birthday to you. And many fertilizers more.
That sounds dodgy.
There you go.
Many many grapes to your success. But yeah, we did talk about it for a bit at the end of yesterday's one, so do go back and take a look.
Yeah, a lot of love was sent your way, Olivia, by everybody in the chat, so go take a look.
But yeah, mine's on the 7th, but it is a weekend, but I want to get drunk on live for it, so we could always do one next weekend, which will be literally right in between. It'll be yours is the Thursday, and it'll be 1 week until mine, so it's the weekend in between. I don't know if you'll be recovered enough from your 28th bash.
I won't be my 28th bash. We'll just have I don't know what we're doing yet, but and I'm not getting as plastered as I did last year.
For which one? For your actual birthday or for our thing?
The birthday one. I think that's the one where I almost died.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah, it was good.
You say that, but I don't remember the last half of it, and I've been too afraid to go and watch it to find out. So.
It was like a 4.5 hour one. It was absurd because we were like 2.5 hours in and we were like, it doesn't feel like it. It was really because you guys were supporting so much and there was so much energy. So yeah, might do that next weekend, I guess, or the weekend after. We'll let you know. We'll let you know. And
everybody says you can barely hear Samuel or your volume is low.
It's funny because I checked it and it was fine. Let me jump back.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Olivia Julius, $5. Next time I want Vic from DS9 to sing Happy Birthday. Well, we don't have access to that program, so...
Yeah. That's funny.
But if anybody's just joining us... Look, I drew a picture while I was waiting. It's a Ferengi. I drawed a Ferengi. That's a Ferengi, human. Yeah, I did good. You know I did good. Anyway, yeah, so we're here to, unfortunately, discuss episode 8 of season 3, the price, which I thought was a lot better than it actually was. I take it you're adjusting the sound there still. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's a process, isn't it? But yeah, it'll swapped around on me. It's not my fault.
And Dan23, there's a few episodes where they can't read Ferengi until they can read Ferengi. Those Betazoids, Beta-Zeds. Are they Betazoids or Beta-Zeds?
Betazoidians.
I think they're referred to as both. Like Volcanians. Fucking stupid.
I think. Well, it depends.
I hate when they use Volcanians.
Well, it depends what nationality you are. I mean, it's the data and data thing. It's just how you would pronounce it, and you don't necessarily correct them while filming because whatever reason.
But Data is not his name. Data is. He even makes a point of pointing that out.
One is my name, one is not.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, I will start sharing. We've got 30 likes, 15 people watching. Stuart, I want to see you get those likes up to 40. I want you to like ramp up our team, hit 40.
You heard him, guys. Hit that like button. Let's get up to 40. Otherwise, if you don't, by the time he gets back, he's going to beat me and whip me, and I don't like that. Generally. Especially coming from Samuel. Just saying. So yeah, make sure you hit the like button. It's a good way to help us. Another way to help us is Super Chats, of course, joining Patreon, joining the channel. Lots of great ways. Plus the Teespring store. Cool Trekyards merchandise down in the description of every video you can check out. And yeah, just helping us by liking, sharing the video around, joining the lives and super chatting. It all adds up, and it all is awesome. Not only that, but it builds an awesome community, which we have a lot of you guys here on a regular basis. So yeah, good to see you all. And hit the like button. Let's get the likes as high as we can. Like how nobody's here for this one. There's like 52 people here. Because this episode's awful. There's like maybe 10 minutes of good stuff in this episode, and the rest is all just creepy, smirky faced, I want to punch him in the face guy who's really creepy and kind of abusive verbally and a little bit of a dick. But yeah, this episode doesn't do well. But the problem is it's got the Barzan wormhole, which Barzan wormhole part is actually kind of cool. But I thought there was a lot more of that in this episode from my recollections, which there's just not. And 2008 Trojan MBA, I really like this episode. Cool. A lot of people, well, we can't all agree, and a lot of people do like this episode. I thought it was better than I remember it being a little bit better and less focused on Creepy Boy, but it's definitely not. So, Olivia Julius, $2. Nobody is here. I'm here. How dare you? That's what I said. Nobody. You nobody. Just kidding. It's fine. Sorry about the wormhole, says 1.5 out of 10. She's already given her score. We're going to have to see where our scores sit in regards to that. Sorry about the wormhole, but yeah, it had potential for sure. Wish it would have been broken up into 2 different episodes, but anywho. Ozzy Medeiros puts in $5 and says, I'm here, skeleton hands. Thank you, Ozzy. Jeff Jacobs, I skipped the parts with the douche dude. Well, then you watch, 10 minutes of a show? Maybe 15? You can't skip those parts, though, like, because there's a lot of interactions with him and Riker, which are pretty good. I like how he has the upper hand on Riker, and then Riker kind of spins it around on him. So, yeah, you can't be watching episodes like that. I totally disagree with that. So don't do that. Just don't do that. What are our likes up to, Samuel? I'll let you do the check.
42. Meaning of life.
Aha! He did it. He won't beat me now. Thank you, guys.
I mean, the wormhole used to go to your house, and I could then, film with you secretly on green screen, but it's since moved, so not much we can do. But Stuart, then, what are your general thoughts of TNG Season 3, Episode 8, The Price? The first one, the Ferengis aren't villains in the same way as they normally are, as well.
Thanks. I hate it. Thanks for the memories. Speaking of memories, my memory of this episode was it focused more on the Barzan wormhole stuff. But as I just kind of said to them, it's like 10, 15 minutes of that. And then a bunch of shit that I didn't want to see. Because it's so cringy. I just want to punch him in the face, that smug dude. Anyway, it didn't hold up to my memory. I remember this being better. I remember the Barzan wormhole thing being cool. And it does time with the Voyager one, which I think helps with that, because that one's pretty good, with the Ferengi are in the Delta Quadrant. So that's one of the redeeming things about this one is it gave us a really good episode of Voyager, that nice continuity thing, which is great.
It retcons some quality back into this.
Yeah, it did. Absolutely did. But it makes your memory of this one better because... I don't know. It's just retroactively fixing things. But yeah, I mean, it was not one that I care to revisit because there's just some creepiness in it, like a lot of creepiness, and a little, like I said, a little bit of verbal abuse, and I don't think it's warranted or appreciated. And yeah, I just could do without it. So that's my memory of it. I thought it was better than this, and it's just not. So,
in a somewhat half similar way that when we reviewed Threshold for Voyager, we said it's actually pretty good up until the point where it shifts.
Yep.
But the science bit, the premise is rather good and rather well done. It's just then suddenly shifts. This one, the premise, the wormhole, is a great premise, and the potential of seeing Riker and them all do the bits is great. And then they fuck around with all this padding of this shit we don't want to see, and you're like, but this is crap. This is not. It's child level, you know. For that she got raped. This she got sort of raped. I mean, but that said, it's as bad as at Orville, where in the very similar way the blue guy came on and he sends off pheromones and people sleep with him. So you can get the creepy episode where, okay, it's not necessarily his fault. You know, they've done that very recently.
Well, it totally was, though, because he was using his ability to read her, how she thought about him, and play up on that. So she didn't know he had that power, first of all. So she found him a little attractive. He took advantage of that and came on way strong. And it's just like, that wasn't the right thing to do.
The problem is, I think it's an annoying ambiguity in this one because it's superbly unrealistic how it's handled in the first 3 scenes. Absurdly unrealistic. You know, they introduce each other, fine, they say hi, and then he walks in to obviously we'll get into the review, but, you know, the annoying factors first, walks into a thing, and then instantly starts touching her hair and touches her head with no... Maybe they spent 3 hours, 4 hours at the meeting together, but the way it plays off is that I met you 4 hours ago and now I'm caressing your neck. It's awful. And so the first few scenes are so badly written, it's shocking that they made it to air. So
it's so uncomfortable, the look on her face. And
yeah, I mean, you can imagine as an actress, I'm like, oh, I'm just getting used this week. Cool. Because like you say, it's this 0 to 1,000. We're skipping 100. There's literally no build-up of any kind except a look. So my interpretation of what this episode is telling me is that this chap, he is empathic, but also he can manipulate emotions a little bit. So he's actually, as soon as he sees her, he starts sending, well, I think she's effing hot. I think she's into me. Like, he's manipulating her brain. Maybe he doesn't even realize it because he's not sure his powers are that good. Because I got the sense throughout the episode he wasn't just sensing people, he was also manipulating them directly with stimulus, like the guy, the big head guy, making him do something he wants to do. So my assumption is that he's literally abusing her with mental powers, which is why it goes from 0 to 100. And as soon as she realizes that, she starts to be able to understand it more and it deconstructs a little bit. Or maybe because they're both part Betazoid, this is the less rapey version, but because they're both part Betazoid, and that's unusual, I'm guessing, because you don't really see many others like that. There's something about the biochemistry of being part Betazoid and part emotion, part not emotion, means that actually there's biological chemistry of connection that they couldn't quite work out because it's just something they're drawn to each other, fine. But to go from the first scene together to the second to the third is ridiculous, and like the last third of them together is sort of okay at a stretch, but yeah, it's embarrassing they got made, and it's sad. We just watched the Screen Rant pitch meeting for Star Trek 09 again, and that's as embarrassing. Like, how could they make that script be made? It's so embarrassing. Those people thought it was a good script, and they aren't writers. They should lose their Trek card. The fact they can make these scenes, the first three of their scenes, is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's on them.
Yeah. To quote somebody online, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
Anyway, Jarzia throws in $15 Canadian.
Ooh.
It's gotta go, but Stuart just summed up my thoughts. 3.5 out of 10 for TNG. Too much creepy dude. Sequel was fun. Also, if Vic sang on my birthday, the song would probably be "Here's to the Losers, Have Some Money." Oh, thank you, Jarzia. I'll probably not hear anymore, but and Brendan, yes, well, it's brisk lemonade. It's not sour at all. It's very sweet, so I didn't make a pucker face when I drink it. But thank you for noticing.
But yeah, I think you remember the Barzan wormhole. You try and ignore the rest of it, and you're watching can we just skip the Troi stuff, please? Can we just skip the? No, okay.
Well, I mean, Jeff, when he watched it, he skipped all those scenes he said, so, which I don't condone. I think you gotta watch an episode from beginning to end, especially if you're reviewing it. And I don't agree with even just casually watching, just skipping ahead for any scene, really. But
well, the thing is, that's what I did for the last episode of season 2. I wasn't going to sit back and watch all the clip shows, and it was better because of it. It's wasting everyone's time.
Yeah.
This obviously is a real episode. The thing is, if we can sit through The Child, we can sit through this. Like, that was still worse than this. At least this has actually a story to it, and the baddie gets a comeuppance at the end. So there is a payoff. The Child is just awful. Although you gotta wonder, I don't believe Code of Honor was intentional. They weren't trying to do what this. I don't know if it's intentional, but do you think the gaffers were reading, who had the script, like they start to perform, the camera guy's like, this isn't very good, but the director's like, yeah, I understand what I'm doing here, and the writer's like, yeah, I understand what I'm doing, but other people on set are like, I mean, maybe let's not have them do this. Let's not give Troi 7 outfits and 3 are see-through.
Yeah, well, yeah. Anyway.
So it starts with chocolate.
Oh, good God, it does. She wants real chocolate, but the replicator's like, we can't do that unless you want to violate the whatever, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, fine. Where's my notes? I gotta find my notes.
I thought it was a great intro, personally.
Yeah,
so
real chocolate Sunday.
Chocolate addiction.
Yeah. Well, she's already having a bad day. Then she gets called down to 10 forward for this to meet the Premier Vivani or whatever from Barzan. I really wasn't paying attention for this one. I made very few notes. Lady from Discovery's
great-great-grandmother, or great-great-granddaughter.
Yes.
But Stuart, the Barzan aren't part of the Federation. Why is there a Barzan on the Discovery? Well, I guess the Enterprise. There he goes. I know obviously you could say, why is Worf part of the Federation as well? But, while a clever reference into... There, no, it's still stuck. Christopher Rollins, not a lot, just our introduction to whatever. Oh, I see an L Cosmo. There he is.
I'm back now. What did you say? I missed all of that.
Oh, I said this must be the Discovery Barzan lady's great-great-granddaughter. But Stuart, the Barzan aren't part of the Federation here, so why is there a Barzan in the Federation on the Enterprise in Discovery era? I mean, I guess why is Worf on the Enterprise? Really? Stuart, man, what's with the internet? Yeah, Barzan joined Starfleet, but, it's not really meant. They should have said something about that. The first Barzan in Starfleet, because it's a good reference to you watch this one. It's like, what is up with Stuart's internet? Because we know this internet's fine. Because see, this is why we started doing lives on this side of the pond, because the internet's slightly more stable. Not all the time, but slightly. TMP in the wormhole is made from the warp engines. So, yeah, that was a weird. Can't Barzan immigrate to the Federation? Sure. But it would have been a nice nod to say, wow, the first Barzan in the Federation. Otherwise, it's. Because here they're obviously so distinctly not part of the Federation. Although we know that Barzan don't have manned spacecraft in this one, which again is a weird thing. So now, you're saying in Discovery era, somebody had first got the Barzan and then took some Barzans with them. They then joined the Federation. I'll get to that in a minute.
Wow.
What's going on the internet today, man?
I don't know. It doesn't want you to ask me the question. Whatever the question was. Try it again.
Discovery ladies in the Federation, but they're not part of the Federation yet. And they even explicitly say we don't have manned space travel. So how do they have first contact? Who are given first contact? It wasn't Federation, otherwise it would get some Prime Directive. And yet a Barzan left the planet and somehow got to the Federation and then joined Starfleet 150 years ago. But they've not made manned spacecraft in 180 years.
You know why? You know why and how it happened? It's because the Discovery guys said, "Hey, look, we remember a thing from that other show. Let's try to make it in our show, so that people think we know what we're talking about."
Raj says, "Try Zoom Trekyards. It's not Zoom. It's Stuart's internet. Skype is not the." It says internet.
Yeah, it's because my son was still gaming upstairs, which didn't help, and so. He's off now, and it's clear, as you can see. Yeah. Jeff Jacobs, $2.51. Nice. Again at 100. Hashtag wormhole like spike. Okay. Anyway.
We're in the first scene, Stuart.
Oh, God. First scene. We meet some people. I wrote down some names, but I don't care. Oh, now my notes are gone. That's sweet. Hold on. Just give me a second. I got to go do that. Boom, boom. All right. So, Mr. Mendoza, Devarani Rao, whatever the hell his name is. Anyway, that's where we find out that every 233 minutes is when. Oh, we find that out either here or in the next scene, but is when the wormhole returns.
Yeah, the first stable wormhole ever discovered, which is a fun concept and it's a fun to set a first. In the universe, as it were, in the Star Trek universe. I like how pleasant Picard is. You would think that Troi would know about this get together. I know this is impromptu, but he doesn't look impromptu. I also find it funny that she's like, well, I'm not dressed for it. He's like, well, whatever. I'm thinking, you're all in standard uniform. Just say we're all in uniform. It's fine because she doesn't change. She doesn't have to change. Just wear your best if they're all in fully standard, smelly uniform after 11-hour shift.
Ooh, Troi, you know that lingerie that you entered the door in that one episode, which has not happened yet? Wear that down here.
Why?
We'll turn the temperature down, too.
Why? Because your future boyfriend's here. What? Nothing.
Yeah, you need to impress people.
And he walks in and he's like, hello. And she's like, hello.
God. I really I hate this guy. I hate the way he looks. Ugh. Gives me creeps. Anyway, we see the weirdest looking wormhole.
Yeah. Well, it looks decent in the 3D shot as you go into it, because at this point I just see it as why is there I don't get it. But then it goes 3D.
It's like God's eyeball.
Yeah, it's not a good. I mean, it's an effect. It's not a good effect. I mean, it's one of those things they could have just replaced it with like a mini Bajoran wormhole effect.
Well, they didn't have that yet.
No, I mean, if in the remaster process.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, obviously that would have been weird, but but yeah.
It's impressive, yay. Then we find out we're in the conference room, the briefing room. Due to radiation built up in the accretion disk, this is why it opens on that regular basis. First and only stable wormhole known to ever exist. Permanent shortcut to the gamma quadrant. Sorry.
Which I remember thinking, rewatching this, is like, wait a minute. No, no, no. Because it's funny. I mean, there's only 4 quadrants, so they can't go beta. It would be less impressive. So obviously, any quadrant will be a future reference without realizing it. But it's just like, it's funny in retrospect.
I forget who says we have neither the experience or the technology to exploit it.
She does.
Oh, yes.
Because they're not warp capable. They don't have any spacefaring ships that are manned.
Yeah.
They have no natural resources that are worth anything in the galactic stage, she says. And it's like, well, like I said, who made first contact? Because the Federation didn't. It'd be against a prime directive. And I guess once they knew... wasn't a Ferengi, clearly, so some of the race, they said hi, and then I guess they said, hey, you should meet the Federation. And they were like, okay, we'll meet a non-warp capable species. But if they don't even have manned spacecraft, I mean, that must be very early in their development. I mean, they haven't even got manned spacecraft. A wormhole is the most useless thing to them. I mean, they have literally no abilities to anything. They can launch a probe through it.
Well, they did launch a probe, yeah, so...
But, I mean, we launched Sputnik, so it's not really an achievement.
Well, we didn't. The Russians did. Damn Russians.
We the planet, Stuart. We the planet.
Oh,
I mean, sure.
No. We're divided into countries, and we're not one unified. You know how it is. We're not there yet, man. They must be unified.
Well, yeah. Or it's just like the left continent. But you know what I mean? It seems a bit weird, though. It's like we're not even warp capable with no tech. It's like saying, oh yes, we set up Sputnik. Now we have 4 massive alien races that we can't even scan them because we haven't got enough tech. What a weird thing to give them such low technology, you know.
Well, but then we find out that the Ferengi want to beam on board, and everybody's like, what? The Ferengi? Beam them directly to the conference room, which I thought was an odd choice, first of all. But, okay. So we meet Damon Goss, Cole, and Dr. Eridor. Doesn't that sound like something out of Lord of the Rings, Dr. Eridor?
Yes, it does, yeah.
Get us chairs. We need chairs. Get your Klingon slave to bring us chairs. I'm chief of security. Well, who gets the chairs? That's pretty funny, I gotta say. I really like that part. Their obsession with chairs. Eugene, 500 rubles. Wormhole effect is cheap, yes, but it looks more like a real 3-dimensional wormhole, not a simple 2-dimensional one.
Well, only in the shot where it turns.
Yeah.
I mean, the DS9 one looks 3D in certain shots too, so...
yeah.
The inside's nice, but that's a reuse of an earlier asset. So these Ferengi, it's really nice to see them not just be the same... Because this is now the start of the direction, you know? These are now Ferengi, not Ferengi.
Yeah.
And in fact...
Yeah.
And in fact, even their technique to poison is much more like a Ferengi would do rather than an early Ferengi. They would, like, stab you and shoot you and whip you, whereas these would do stealthy things. So we've really jumped the shark here. Although, they really effed up on the main guy's teeth, because he is hard to understand. They did a poor job. I'm sure it's on lots of different days, so some of it's clearer than others. But there's a few scenes where that teeth, they should have known really bad acting through fake teeth. Like, couldn't speak properly. It does detract. But I love this scene. This is probably the best scene of the whole episode. As like, clever writing. It's just like,
Picard's like, you take my seat. And then he, like, leaves and goes to the bridge and...
Yeah, there's gentle Ferengi racism in this one, because multiple times they say, oh, always with Ferengi. Oh, I can never trust them. Oh, what do you expect? It's like, no, you're being prejudiced here. I mean, they are always, from your experience, they're always bad. But, you know... He wasn't being that annoying, considering, like, he wasn't being that annoying. I guess it's after a long dealing with all these delegates, but it wasn't being that bad.
Wow. Anyway, the Ferengi just put down this gold, and they say, we'll match
gold, Stuart.
We'll match gold. Best office. Yeah, we'll match the best offer and add this gold on top of it.
I'm guessing
it's not even gold pressed platinum at this point. It's just gold. So.
But it makes sense that, you know, they value gold. So it's a big gesture, but he knows gold's worthless. So it's like, yes, I'll throw all this minerals. And obviously we're referencing the fact that several times they mix up gold and gold pressed platinum. But they do explicitly say, Quark says, gold? I don't want worthless gold. Even though it's gold pressed platinum, it's part of the same. Yeah, good sign. Good start.
And then she's back in her office, and she's looking over his personnel file, and he just comes on in, and Hey, I thought you'd be thinking about me.
And you're like, why?
What?
Where'd that come
Shouldn't
from?
shouldn't you be at the negotiations? Ah, there's better things to negotiate on this ship.
Like your pants. It's like, what? What?
Well, what about your female traveling companion? She's traveling. They sent her away.
I want a different suit
Why?
today. It's like, what? Everything's
Why?
saying it's bad.
Yeah, why? Well, you know why. And then he like creeps and oh, and then no, that's when he says, "Don't do that. Don't do Counselor Troi." Wow, fuck you.
That's like, you've only met
You
her
don't
with
even know
Councillor
her.
Troi. You've
Yeah,
only met her in one formal activity. So you're saying, don't be the person you think you are. Be the naughty girl I think you are. Having not met you, don't know your second name. Yeah. This is
yeah.
the worst. This is the worst scene of them. This is like
Oh, it's fucking awful.
terrible.
And he takes out her little hair thing and then starts. And the uncomfortable look on her face is very troubling.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, this is just hard to watch.
And the hair looks so much worse after.
Wow,
Like
that's a matter of opinion. I
Troy.
think when he leaves and she's looking at that last scene, I think it looks kind of good.
I think Troy has awful hair in this episode. Just like she looks better normally for me. Just terrible. It's so unkempt. Like it looks like she stepped out of the shower, it frizzed up, and then it's like, yes, I put no effort into it. Like,
It's that disheveled look, which means what it looks like after you've had a roll in the hay. So
you don't
some people
start. You
find
don't
it
start a
attractive.
night with the roll in the hay hair. You earn the roll in the house. You put effort in first, and then you do it. It's
Yeah.
like, anyway,
It's just awful. Just awful scene.
like you assume in this scene, first watch, that she actually did know him first because the way he's talking to her, as if they've known each other, like if they're at the academy together or they've met before, some sort of connection to allow him to be this something.
Hmm.
Or if we had seen them talk a second time in the intro sequence, just one more time to show it's not just the introductions, because this is absolutely out of nowhere, and there's no build up at all. It's terrible.
Terrible is the word for it, yes. But let's move on to a better scene. Ready Room. This is where we find out that the wormhole delivered the Barzani probe to beyond the Dendary arm in the Gamma Quadrant. And I was like, say what? Because I kind of forgotten about that. I thought it always was the Delta, and just different spot in the
Which is a
Delta.
nice
But anyway,
reveal. I mean, it's a clever little twist.
yeah. We find out here too that the Ferengi actually don't have the resources that the Barzan need, so it's not like they're going to win automatically.
Uh-huh.
Good scene. I mean, nearly a century at warp 9 to get there, which is interesting. And then the other guy starts talking to Riker, and he's like, "You must play poker. Poker? Is that a game of some sort?"
Good little bit. See, the stuff that isn't Troy stuff is actually pretty okay.
Yeah.
It's not good,
Right.
but it's pretty okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. So a lot established here. We find out where the probe went. We find out how long that would be, and how useful this could be to anybody that gets it. And
Well, Picard even goes, like he is
Yeah.
really impressed, as you would be. I mean, this is the opportunity as we obviously deal with in DS9. The opportunities are potentially endless.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing the possibilities.
And Riker's like, "Yeah, Geordi's been looking at this thing since it opened. Poor bastard. He's got him near a window, I guess."
That was a weird line.
It was. So Picard decides to send Geordi, and then Data volunteers. And they're like, "Well, before we do that, we need to run a few tests before we send you guys. But yes, that'll be what we're going to do." So there you go. They just want to check it out and make sure it's safe.
Yeah. Yep. No. Although I like how this. I know he's not that important, but the Federation diplomat, he has no charisma at all.
Yeah, I know.
Like he's meant to be literally the best diplomat in the Federation. They say. What an awful casting for that. Like he'd be good as a scientist, but like I guess neither does the big tall alien. But it's like you need charisma, you need personality to be a diplomat. He's a plank of wood. You know? Don't know why they cast him. I guess he was cheap because he was going to work 2 days max.
Maybe.
It felt like a weird choice.
Oh, then we get the Damon scene where they're extracting the whatever out of his neck, and they mix it with the thing and say, "Oh, this won't hurt you because it's based on your blood, but it'll. We don't have to kill anybody. A temporary crippling will be fine.
Yep.
So they'll have a severe allergic reaction when this comes in contact with them. So
this is quite a smart scene, actually. Like this is a completely out of the box thinking. They're not being malicious. They're being devilish but not mean. Although it's weird they never try to poison anyone else. Maybe it only works on the humans. Don't know.
Well, it looks like it was going to work on Ferengi because the guy goes to shake his hand. They're like, yeah.
But it's interesting. Is it quite a, and it's also not something that would be noticed by ship scanners. So it's actually very clever, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of cool where they mix the vial and it changes color in the hand and stuff.
They should have done an effect though where the liquid like evaporated.
Disappeared.
Yeah. I was waiting for that.
Because even when they do the handshake thing, you can see it like roll off his hand. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Wow. They didn't need it for that shot. It's far enough away, but okay.
Yeah. That's funny. So now we have lovely dress, terrible hair.
Gonna disagree with you again there. Reminds me of Tilly hair, but that's okay. But yeah, this is an awful scene too. What would you like? And then he kisses her, and then she says something or moves away, and he's like, "There she is again, Counselor Troi. Why be yourself?" It's so abusive. It's so. I hate it. I hate it. And then, am I moving too fast for you? No, I'm moving too fast for me. Well, that's okay. That's actually better, he says. Yeah, I haven't stopped thinking about you all day, says Troi. And he's like, well, it must have been a good day. Okay. Wow.
See, that's a nice third date line. You know, you've got chemistry.
Yeah.
That's cute. Not the third time you've met. For less than 12 minutes in total.
Oh,
Usually
the lovey-dovey shit I hate. This is even worse.
It's rape stuff. It's not. Well, it's not. You know, it's as close to rape as you can get. And how forced and uncomfortable it is. You know.
Yeah.
And then do champagne. It's pre-date champagne. And
which they don't drink.
And then they go straight to have sex. After him 4 minutes in the door. I mean, it's just awfully written. I mean, it makes no sense. It's written by an alien, you know, because it makes sense if the build-up is that he's controlling her brain and manipulating her emotions, and therefore every time he sees it, it escalates, which would make sense.
Yeah.
But that's only implicitly said, not explicitly said. And there's just no chemistry between them either. Like, you know, you can make this part of the sinister plot. Like how you're right when she's controlled by the old lady, and then, you know, seduces Riker. It's like there's a reason for it. So while cringe, it makes sense. You're not questioning it. This is out of left field. And they could have built this up organically as well. They could have had a nice dinner. They could have talked. They could have been cute. But to do it in this order is just awful, tone deaf.
It would have been interesting if there was radiation emitting from the wormhole that was affecting their telepathy, both of them. Yes. So they were both over the top.
Just affects betazoids, makes them extremely susceptible to emotions, and therefore even the slightest hint of attraction escalates. Oh, mate, I love that.
Yep, that would have solved all the problems.
And it would have made it not creepy, just like...
Well, it'd be creepy at first, then you go, oh, okay, there's a reason. And then later when they resolve the situation at the end, there could be like this apology scene, and it's okay, maybe we'll meet again. And then, you know, there's some redemption there, but... Yeah.
No, that's wonderful, actually. That would have been good. Maybe we should maybe should have added that. Maybe we should have brought back Marina to film a new scene for the Bastards, put her in makeup and costume digitally de-age her, just have her say that at the end.
Or have it that the Ferengi actually brought a device which blocked any telepathy at all.
Scrambles their emotional state.
Yeah, just in case there was somebody there that had that, and it was wreaking havoc with it because it was illegal technology. Wow. You know, there's many ways to fix it.
That's brilliant. I love that, which is sad because that makes it seem better in my head. Like you're softening it, but I shouldn't do that because it's Yeah, these first two are terrible.
Sorry about the wormhole, says puts in $2. This writer is primarily a soap opera writer. What, really? I never would have guessed.
But it's worse than that though. It's misunderstanding women and male roles, women and male emotions, the characters. Just
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to a better scene. Not much, but a better scene with the ambassador, the Federation negotiator, stumbling through the hallway and stumbles into sickbay and collapses. So there we go. He's out of the picture, effectively. So that's followed up in a minute. Now we're up in the ready room. We got the Ferengi there, and they're like, talking about the Federation was going to try to screw them over, essentially. And Picard's like, we'll share our reports with all of the delegates. And of course, the Ferengi just don't believe them. They're going to send their own. Or Riker actually says, send your own team then. And he's kind of aggressive about it. But Picard doesn't, he's like, that's how Picard was feeling. That's how Picard was feeling, but he let Riker say it, which I like. And then they take off out of the room. So.
Yeah. But again, they're not playing the way they normally play, and they're not unreasonable. They're just playing it to the extreme of annoyance.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world.
And Ozzy says, how did he find sickbay? Well, he's a Federation delegate. He would know the layout of the ships. Plus, all you gotta do is touch the panel and say, where's sickbay?
This is the side of the corridor.
Yeah.
Computer, where is sickbay? Beep. Thank you. Thank you, Majel.
Fifth door down on the right. Okay, I'm gonna stumble there.
Which is, thanks for remembering, reminding me. The very first scene is a little bit funny that when Troi talks about they're getting letters from the computer, letters from her mum, to wit, Majel tells her she has letters from her mum. So her mum is telling her she has letters from her mum. It's just,
Never thought about that, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. We're so
three
used to
three correspondences from your mother, or something.
in your mother's voice. Actually, wouldn't it be great, actually, if there was like a scene where Riker says, wait, Deanna, I've just noticed. Have you set the show's computer to do your mum's voice? Oh, I just thought it was pleasant for everyone. Oh, I got used to it. Like, it was actually the real voice. But yeah, that scene happens.
Yeah.
And then he's allergic reaction, not dying, a bit weird, but a bit too conspicuous. But they have a walk and talk, which clearly uses the entire set. Like, you get a moment where he's like walk up to a point and the lights are a bit off. Like, there's no real ending to the set there.
Okay.
And the most cheeky Picard, is always like, "You'll do fine. That's part of the fun." It's good.
Yeah, the walk and talk was basically that you'll have to fill in form number one. I can't do it. It'd be too awkward, and
Which is true. Makes sense.
Yeah. I think he could have done it, but he didn't want to do it. He was pushing it off. But yeah, and yeah, that little cheeky smile as the triple lift door closes was good.
It's the difference between commanding officer and friends.
Yeah.
Oh, then you get Wesley's cameo. Moving on. I mean, it's true.
Well, just saying that the thing it's about time to open.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Stuart, we've got a new ship. We've got a new ship.
Yes, we do.
Thoughts?
I like the Ferengi shuttles.
Yeah.
I think they're cool.
They meant that Yes, you understand them.
Yep.
They feel about right.
Yep. Now we got the small Type 15. Yes, Type 15 shuttle pod with the two people in it. Which, if I was sending somebody through a wormhole, I guess you might want to minimize the sensor profile or the size of it. But at the same time, in case something does go wrong, wouldn't you want one of the bigger shuttles so they could have supplies? Because is there even a washroom in this one? No. I love how Geordi's later like, I don't want to get stuck in this thing. Well, please look on the bright side. You'd have me to talk to.
Yep. No, it's great they have a shuttle set. Awesome. But it's the most worthless shuttle possible. It really is. I mean, It's basically just the NX-1 shuttle pod with more sensors, in essence.
And less room.
And that's but it's a shuttle pod. I mean, it is there specifically for a reason. But yeah, this should have been if they existed. But you know, but the wormhole opens. You get a 3D pan. Cool. Bit better there. Yay! But it's still pretty running. But going through it's nice. I mean, that's nice enough.
Which they carry over to DS9. They use that for the
Close enough. Yeah.
Yeah. DMS Alves puts in $5. Love you guys. Late to the party. Gonna rewind and watch from the beginning. Well, enjoy. Enjoy it more than we enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
Here we find out that the Chrysalians are neutral. They basically.
Brendan says that shell's about the size of his apartment. Oh.
Oh wow! Do you live in New York?
or Japan?
Hmm.
Sorry, Chrysalians.
Yeah, they're neutral now. They're. Is this the scene? No, it's not the scene.
They're not neutral.
Oh yeah. This is where
neutral.
we are. This is where we are neutral. We don't have any stakes in this as far as hostility goes. You know, the Federation and the Ferengi are fighting about this thing, and you know he's trying to take that course with it, and he's got his proposal up there on the screen. Well, that's the United Federation of Planets proposal, but still. So yeah, he's saying that basically, you know, we're not going to cause conflict over this thing. You know, we're the best one for the bid. So yeah, that's basically all this scene is.
And what do you think about
that? I mean, it makes sense. And as far as a bargaining chip goes, that's actually very smart. That way there won't be, you know, scuffles around their planet or whatever over their resource that they sold to whoever. So it's a good tactic, but
the only it is good in principle, but neutrality is a hard thing, and we are trying to be neutral with with things, and it's hard for us. We don't, you know. So what if say a Ferengi ship, you know, came in and threatened them? If you're neutral, you can't take sides, so you can't fight the Ferengi. Otherwise, you'll become enemies of the Ferengi, and you can't do work with them, or as in if they're aggressors. Surely, would they not choose to maintain their neutrality over picking a side in a conflict? So isn't almost a neutral person worse because they either will have to retreat or forcibly pick a side, which was not part of bargaining? I mean, neutral people tend to lose a lot of the time because they get forced into corners. They have to walk away or betray both sides or don't help both sides. I mean, that's
Yeah.
Neutral means no gain, no loss, but also, you know, whatever. You know, we can't go on podcasts that, you know, that are so pro or so against because it's not going to be good for us either way. You know, it's not good. I like Riker's counter saying, you know, hey, neutral means you have no stakes, means you have no, like, interest in, you have no part of galactic politics. You're barely here, mate. Why would you be a power?
Yeah.
That's a great counter. I like that a lot. Because it's true. I mean, they've you know, tech to offer, great. We have scientists, great. Everyone else does too. I mean, that shouldn't be the thing you justify. I mean, the Federation has access to a billion things. I mean, the Chrysalians are a planet. You maybe could argue a couple. Federation is how many worlds? How many people? How many? I mean, it's weird they could even go against the Federation. That said, as someone said in the chat, why only these 4 people? And to wit, the Ferengi were additions. So why were only the Chrysalians, this random guys, people in the Federation interested? I know I was in a certain quadrant of space, but that's not a lot of people who are potentially interested.
The other guys, the big-headed guys, are the Caledonians. Just so I don't know. Maybe they're just the closest ones as far as systems go. And the Federation, of course, since it's in Federation space, they...
But it's not in Federation space because they're not part of the Federation.
But it's all in the Federation bubble.
But I would assume that their territory would go around this planet. Their planet is neutral space, not in the like. It might be in Federation space, but not actually. Like, it's
not how that works, though. It's all in Federation space. They just don't have any jurisdiction in their system.
Oh, so they annexed the space without asking them?
Well, no, they're just in Federation space. I mean, look at the borders. Anything within that is Federation space or territory. So.
But they had no say in it. You're in Federation space. Don't worry about it. What?
Yeah, I'm in Canada space, and I didn't have a say in it. I'm just here. You know, it's
not quite the same, but.
Well, it is though.
No. not exactly.
Then we get the foot rubbing scene.
Do
Do
we
you want me,
though?
do you want me to extend these talks for a few days?
What arrogance?
I hate this scene. And they talk about shit, and she rubs oil on his fucking hairy chest, and it's disgusting. And
yeah, it's very unnatural, and again, no chemistry.
This is where she says, "I felt as though I've been waiting for you," and he's like, "I'm part Beta Z."
Betazoid.
One quarter Beta Z, whatever. He says Beta Z. I wrote Betazoid.
Because Beta Z's the planet.
Yeah. Well, he's never been comfortable with it. He's never been comfortable with it. That's why he left Earth.
Yeah.
He does use it to his advantage.
Yep. So that debate will come later.
Yeah. But that's that scene wrapped up, and I don't need to see any more of it because it's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean it's the sense of how long this episode takes place over is weird, because how long will it take to negotiate something that you know relatively small? We know it's not going to be more than a day and a half, because it takes a day for them to run the scans of the wormhole. They go the next day. They know it opens every 230 minutes, so that's how long you've got. So this takes place over 2 days, because they're not going to wait until the wormhole for six months, 6 weeks. So in 2 days, they've gone from date to sex to sex to sex to sex between consultations, and sort of fall in love, and one gymnast session, which we'll get into in a minute. Again, weirdly rushed. And this would make sense if this would make sense if this was Riker, or if this was sort of all of a sudden Picard and Crusher. Like, if there was some chemistry and some longevity, you could sort of force the scene in, but it's, again, abstract, and I mean, the reveal's good, but
83 people watching, which is awesome. Guys, hit that like button if you haven't already. I'm glad we got those numbers on this episode. Didn't think we would. We started with 50, which was kind of low, so hit the like button and let us know your thoughts on this. If you can super chat, please do so. But they come on the other side of the wormhole, and we're not competitors, we're partners. Or we are competitors, not partners, says the Ferengi. We're not where we're supposed to be. We are 200 light years away from the Delta Quadrant. Their probe ended up in a different location. So yeah, there's issues. There's things afoot. They're in the Delta Quadrant instead of the Gamma Quadrant.
So 3 notes. One, Jill says, "Are you saying no one controlled the wormhole by DS9? Nope, it wasn't discovered yet, so no one controlled it. It was just in Bajoran space. So no. Second, this is a lovely, vaguely CG, but mostly it's just miniatures composite of the shuttle. That's cool. Good for them.
Okay.
And it looks good for scale. Like, that's a miniature with a full-size set. That's pretty well done, considering the completely wrong, scale of things. And 3, I was very struck by the 200 light years away from the Gamma Quadrant, because that means that, well, A, it's bullshit, because we know Voyager's route. It was through the middle of the Delta Quadrant. Next to the Gamma Quadrant is a very, very, very big detour. 200 light years is not a long way. You can do that in a couple of days or week. It's not far. And if you're 70,000 light years, which they say later on, in the Delta Quadrant, but that close to the Gamma, I mean, people have said, we would only have taken 10 years off to go to that, the Gamma Quadrant one. It wasn't fine, sure. But if you're this close, I mean, that was a wrong number. That I'm sure it meant like 20,000 or 2,000, but 200 light years is nothing. It's absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And they're wrong. I mean, they're just flat out wrong. So, yeah, it was a stupid number.
A writer that didn't know or think about it.
But the thing is, they got 70,000 right. They got so many things mostly right and then wrong again. It's very strange.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Ferengi they're going to do their own thing, and Geordi's like, things don't look right here. What's... Cut. Next scene. And this is a glorious scene for many reasons. But they have this conversation, Crusher and Troi. Crusher looks good as an Orion woman, I gotta say.
Yeah, I definitely imagine the women reading this script be like, God damn it.
Yeah. So is it possible to fall in love in a day? You look radiant and all this shit. I did once. Fell in love for a week. It was before they met Jack. Jack was a lot more complicated. Well, maybe then I should take my time.
Nah. I'd say nah.
Yeah, they both stop it. Nah.
Because Troi starts off saying, I feel very limber today. It's like, right, okay.
Mm.
What's strange about this scene is that the dialogue actually works for their characters, and Troi feels like Troi again.
Mm-hmm.
Which is nice. It's just, what the hell are they doing it in this version? And why is the Troi version so much more sexual than Beverly? Because Beverly's like, okay, sure, and Troi is just like, there's such disparity there with sexualness. It's bizarre. But credit for the awesome set redress. I mean,
Yep.
like it's just engineering corridor / the big corridor with 2 full-size mirrors. What a clever way of having a redress that looks and feels completely different. Like, good job for them for that.
Yeah.
But like, what an out of left field thing. Like, I love Worf's later on ones, but this is just random and weird and yeah.
Mm-hmm. The next scene, this made me laugh. 10 forward, the Ferengi's hitting on a woman. She takes off, and then he sees another one come in. He looks at her, checks out her ass, and then like, hey.
Which I thought was funny.
I thought that was funny. Yeah.
Although, he's thinking internally, God, these are so exotic.
Why are they wearing clothes? Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
I'm so used to no mystery. Now you're both alien and mysterious. But that's not a thing yet. But it didn't need to do this for him. But it's actually weirdly in character.
I wonder if Ferengi strip clubs just have the women walking around with clothes on.
Yep. Hey, the more money, the more layers.
That's funny. Anyway, dude comes in and talks to Caledonian. Find out the Caledonians are committed to just pure research. They're not really administrators, so managing the people going in and out of the wormhole all the time is going to be a pain for them. So he's basically using his powers to persuade this guy to
but that's the
change
thing,
this.
It's not explicit. It's just,
No.
But it's the subtext is there.
Yeah.
But it's frustratingly subtle.
Yeah, and awesome makeup on the Caledonians, by the way.
Oh, I was gonna call it out for being bad makeup.
Oh, I like it. I like the dinosaur head thing. I think it's cool.
See, I like the design. I just hate the fact that you can see the seam lines. Like the thing underneath the eye is too blatant. It just looks to me like a dude with a cost. Like normally they're beautifully worked together. It just looks like a dude with a mask on. I'm completely lost. Like it doesn't.
Those are wrinkles. Don't be so judgmental.
Doesn't work at all for me personally.
But his hands are cool.
Yeah, his hands are cool. But yeah,
I
Westmore
can do that too. See.
Yeah. But no, I think Westmore messed up on that one. But good premise. He's so tall.
Jill says the seam lines are terrible. I'm with Samuel on this one. I don't call them seam lines though, but okay. All right, so then next scene, we find out that the Caledonia withdraws from those negotiations, and the other guy, the creepy guy, he's got all of their resources, the trillium, whatever it was.
Yeah, so as soon as he says I'm retreating from this, why does Riker turn to him and say, well, first try to buy your ore?
Yeah.
So that's a whole separate negotiation thing. Why are we suddenly jumping into your negotiation with our negotiation? And then we're going to sell that to this person who we have no idea if that's worth anything to you. It felt so random. It just felt like a non-scene where words were being said. It's like, the Federation has unlimited resources, pretty much, if you want them. You don't need to buy resources from the guy next to you to sell to this lady, unless we're saying that their plans are really close together, and therefore it's much more, like, you can guarantee delivery, but it's a stupid little scene. In terms of, like, content... For me, anyway.
The one note I made here was we made a deal with the creepy fuck.
Well, he thought he was being a mate.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish the Ferengi dude had more to say. Like, Quark would want to really be engaged, but he says way too silent for a Ferengi. And I honestly forgot he was in the scene. I saw him in the screen cap.
Yeah. I thought the Ferengi played a bigger role in this episode from my recollections of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Because besides the teeth, he has decent characterization. Just weird.
But we're back in space in the Delta Quadrant, and we find out that it's changing. Listen to us. Aren't where we should be. You need to follow us in. We're going to lead you because it's changing right now. We got about 40 seconds. Trust me, you don't have 40 seconds. If you stay here and not follow us, you're screwed. Like, we're going to stay right where we are. We're right where we are supposed to be. And they're like, okay, well, we're taking off. So, bye. And sure enough, the wormhole appears exactly where it's supposed to and when, and they're like, yeah, and then it just buggers off. Which you gotta feel for these guys, where they are, and the ship they're in. Your heart would sink.
I mean,
we know they're okay. We know they're okay.
I have a really nice life for the next like 6 years, actually, or at least years on. People saying that the actor that played the Caledonian is actually the actor that played the Predator in both Predator 1 and 2. And given that he was actually in Predator 1 before this, they presumably knew that, and hey, good for him.
I didn't know that, but that is awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, Predator 1 before this and Predator 2 after this. Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I said he was tall. I was pretty damn right. But yeah, this scene, I don't think they make it fully clear why Geordie knows it's gonna shift. Like, he sees radiations. I'm like, okay. Like, I guess if they explicitly said to the audience, it's gonna shift, they'd be no surprise it shifted. So I thought dialogue was a bit clumsy here, of like, I didn't quite understand what they were doing, what they were saying.
There was a little bit of technobabble, but yeah, it wasn't super informed. Like I said, these scenes seemed a lot shorter to me this time around than what I remember.
100%.
So, but the look on the Ferengis when it warps off is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that's a director's choice. That is.
Yeah.
No, I mean I like the idea of this scene. I like the fact that they try and get them with them and they go and yeah, can you imagine them being stuck in a shuttle? Although we do know from DS9 that actually these shuttles are warp capable. They're actually pretty fast. They have storage. Like, they're actually more capable than you'd think compared to Federation shuttles. They're actually more capable in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oops.
Still. Then we get their dinner where they have a little bit of a fight, talking about Commander Riker and how good he is.
And this is their second night together. Just for the record, this is their second day. This is their second dinner.
Looks like they just had sex, though, and,
Well, they don't want to... The first time they tried to go out for dinner, he stopped them. Second day, they will order in, we'll do it anyway. So, okay, yeah, sure.
And Troy's arguing with him, saying, yeah, but he doesn't have an edge. You make it sound unethical. It's just business. But you don't tell them, well, do you tell every alien species that you run into that you're an empath? Or do you use that to help out your captain? That's different. It's survival. Then he goes on to say that he used this edge on her as well. And you don't seem to mind, he says.
Which is it's like, did you ask her that?
Yeah.
Because she clearly does mind.
Okay. Yeah, it's just, again, this scene's rough. This is like a couple that have been married for like 25 years and just can't stand each other, and it's just ugh.
But it also, again, this is the best scene of them together. It actually has some meat, and they're not as creepy. But it's been their second dinner ever together.
But it's uncomfortable to watch and awkward because you feel like mom and dad are fighting.
Yeah, the pacing's all wrong with which is why if you'd said about the whole chemical change their brain and like this would make sense, it escalates really quickly. So I hate the fact he's wearing a bathrobe. I know he probably is wearing a bathrobe, given the fact they just had sex, probably, but he's just wearing a fucking bathrobe. It looks so stupid.
Yeah.
And obviously she's wearing a curtain, shower curtain.
Shower curtain.
With a neck thing. But I actually like the scene in terms of dialogue a little bit because he's also like when he starts to argue why she's being unethical, she is. If you think about it, every alien they come in contact with, she's not announcing. She's not suggesting. She's mentally going to their brain without consent. So she is mind abusing them. As inconsistent as that power is, either like the when they went to the planet with the god alien, he wasn't okay with her going to his brain. She was still doing it. So yeah, she's absolutely invading people's privacies without any consent. That's wrong.
I do kind of like his description, like saying that it's a bit similar to watching body language when you know
Yep.
human behavior or something very well.
Yep.
It's kind of the same thing, but you got a little bit more of an edge.
Yep.
Because really, you can tell what people are thinking by body language if you really pay
There are
attention.
professionals that can do it seamlessly. Given we know explicitly that half-baked Zoids have limited power, I'm assuming he has even less power considering he's a quarter. That's logical, so she presents more power than him. The fact that she can even sense his power is another implication to that. He's just probably got a more unique version. So I thought that was interesting. Like, obviously what he's doing is a bit wrong, especially if he's actively changing their brains. But yeah, she's doing wrong stuff too. And I like the fact that he says, what you do is life and death. What I do is just property. So, while that's fine as a defense, how many times has she said they're bluffing? Okay, fire. Well, we killed them. Well, Deanna just helped us kill these people. We're using power to influence a battle. In defense, it's fine, but life or death is different to just property. Just property. Like, it was an interesting debate where they're both wrong, but they both do it anyway. Also, we're meant to just root for her against him, and that's correct. But I mean, she's doing wrong things too, just because she's a hero.
Yeah.
And it's like James Bond. He has a license to kill. I mean, what? Is that legal in Russia? You know what I mean? She has a license to mentally abuse people off ship because she's part of the Federation. There you go. That's what she has.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the scene with Riker, where he finally gets a little bit of comeuppance, a little bit anyway.
Well, yeah, I love how the guy's like, hey, mind if I sit down here? It's going to come down to just you and me in the end.
Yeah.
I feel responsible for you in some way. We both love Deanna. She could have been yours, Will, and you didn't do enough to keep her. And I'm going to take her, too. And I love how Riker here is like, wow, you just lost all my respect by playing that hand.
Yep.
If I care for Deanna. If you can make her happy, that would make me immensely happy. She's a woman that can maybe bring some meaning to your pitiful little existence. If you act and take advantage of it,
Yep.
act on it. So he stabs him, twists, and then Riker stabs him and twists, and it's fine. It's good.
Yeah, Riker gets stabbed in the heart, and Riker stabs this guy in the dick. Just that bit worse. No, it's good. It doesn't go the way you think, because he's been such in control this entire episode. But this bit makes me think that whatever the guy's name is. Do you remember his name?
I don't know. Creepy fuck.
There you go. CP. No, CF. So CF. This scene, I feel as if he's trying to use his powers to manipulate Riker explicitly, but now. Yep. Because Troi understands his ability, she's able to slightly block him, and now his abilities aren't working as the actor. He can still read him, but he can't manipulate him. And now he's like, wait, Riker retorted? So I think this is the turn, because it's such a weird to what he's been doing previously. Again, that's what I'm taking from it. The subtlety there, but he can no longer manipulate actively anymore.
No, I don't get that. I think he just tried a tactic on Riker because he could sense a little bit of jealousy or whatever from Riker, maybe, and Riker just wouldn't let him have the satisfaction. So,
but then it makes
that's what I get.
But then in that sense, Riker is jealous. He's just playing him off as a bluff. Of course, I care. I'm not happy with her. I'm just gonna smile and pretend, and and he obviously he knows his feelings should he walks off. But the thing is, he plays it so genuinely that's why I think it's more implicit. Otherwise, he's just acting because he does care. Yeah, like I say, it's a weird episode for that.
Oh yeah. Anyway, it doesn't work. Yeah. So this is where the Ferengi ship starts moving towards the wormhole and charges its weapons.
Missiles.
He, says, "Yeah, screw you guys." Launches a missile at the thing, which gets intercepted by a phaser beam.
Phasers, almost.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of cool, actually.
And it is cool. And this is happening. This conversation that's happening in the conference room is happening at the same time because in a second they go to red alert. Ozzy Medeiros puts in $5. His real Matt McCoy from the Police Academy movies, part 5 and 6.
His real name is Matt McCoy.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. He's 62. Yeah, I've only seen no police academies.
Oh, they're good. They're funny.
At least I'm assuming like the first couple are, because most things get worse over time. But
Yeah, the first 3 I would say are good. But anyway.
aren't they spoof? They can't Naked Gun, aren't they? A little bit. Not
Well, they're not making fun of anything. It's just a comedy, so it's not really a spoof on anything or a parody of anything.
So more
but it's just
classic police comedy rather than spoof police comedy.
Yeah. Anyway, in the conference room, they're having this debate about the wormhole is being used as a pawn in the conflict between the Federation and the Ferengi, and then all of a sudden we get a red alert. And
you would think Rai could hear phasers being fired.
You wouldn't, though.
Because they're only like this much away. I mean, they're like less than a minute.
But no, you wouldn't hear that in the conference room. You wouldn't hear that in the ship, I don't think. But anyway, so he goes on the bridge and gets confronted by, well, that Deanna. Captain, he's lying. Anyway, yeah. I don't know where this goes.
Yeah, you skipped a little bit there.
I did. I don't remember. I don't have notes for this part until they come back on the bridge, so.
Yes, the Ferengis try and blow up the wormhole, and Picard's like, you know it won't blow up the wormhole. He's like, yes, but if you can't have it, no one can. And then they destroy it, and there's a stalemate, and then they come in and start the...
Gotcha.
And then Troi stands up and is like, he's actually just 100% lying. What? And then they come in, and I'm surprised the Barzan lady just pretty much stays silent. It's weird that... I mean, she's not important in the story, therefore, fine. And the guy's like, look, he did, he offers a deal to the Ferengi guy, and he's like, that is acceptable. And it's a good deal, actually. We've agreed to deal, we get unlimited access, and we then get to give you unlimited access as long as, hopefully, you'll be ones to be our trade ships and such, which is actually a good deal. Makes sense.
And then there's he's lying, and the Ferengi's like, what? I wasn't lying.
Flustered. Yeah.
I was tense. I strongly protested.
Yeah, I like that. and Picard's like, off screen. And it was like, what's going on here? And he's like, what are you trying to say, Troi? And she's like, well, that's the tense bit, but yeah.
Everyone, he has empathic powers.
Dun-dun-dun! His face. He's like, you betrayed me after 2 days of knowing each other. I told my one deepest, darkest secret after 2 days.
Yeah.
Literally. This isn't a very long episode.
She stands up to him and she's like, you know what? I was kind of in a compromised position because I knew this. But now I'm letting everybody know. So screw you, guy. Screw you, guy.
I'm going to the Delta Quadrant. And Christopher Rollins says, inter-missile, just torpedo in the air. Was torpedo just a missile in the water? No, missile and torpedo are different ordnance. They're technical names of different ordnance.
Yeah, and they both exist in Star Trek universe. So
that's why it was specifically missile, because it's unusual, and that's actually what Andrew had and such. Anyway.
Yeah. But anyway, guess what? The shuttles are coming back. Well, a shuttle is coming back. Yeah. And this is where we find out that the wormhole is actually unstable. The other end is unstable and swinging back and forth. This end is stable for now, but eventually they're both going to be swinging. So
I wondered if that was a bit odd to me. Obviously, they haven't got much scientific data to say much, but you never get a sense of, like, unstable doesn't necessarily mean moving everywhere. You know, maybe it goes between delta, gamma, delta, gamma, delta, gamma. Yeah. But
that's what they kind of explained, that it was swinging back and forth.
But I don't necessarily get that, because if it is, then they could save the Ferengi, because it's almost explicitly that it's not doing that because they're lost. So I'm assuming it goes...
it's not going back and forth like this necessarily. Yeah. It's kind of doing this and ending up like all over the place. So you can't predict where it's going to come out.
Yeah. But I mean, they certainly have enough hours. Because even though, you know, as they said in a minute, it's a worthless wormhole, but you can still send a sensor through each time, get readings. Who knows what you might find. I mean, you can go back and forth easily, and if you get... I mean, Geordie's visor is common technology. It's special, it interacts with his brain, but the sensors are standard stuff. So they could just send a probe in that could do that. I mean, it's still a useful, interesting thing, because what if you stumble upon a thing that gives you sensor readings of a new thing? I mean, you know, could still be useful, just not very useful. And then Riker congratulates him for the successful acquiring of a useless wormhole, and he's like, look,
It's all good, man. It's all good.
I pay my debts and I stick with my work. And I wish I was a shot of the Barzan lady being like, oh. Because remember, this makes the planet worthless again. Because that's what she said earlier. We have nothing of value except the wormhole. Oh.
Yeah.
No warp,
much.
no ships, no wormhole, no resources. Barzan, man, not a fun destination, I guess.
Yeah. And then Picard's like, "Hey, you know what? If you want your men, head that way. You might find them in 80 years or so."
Yep.
Which I like. Then we get the scene where he goes and says goodbye to Deanna and says, "Hey, why don't you run away with me? You could help me change, be a better person.
Yeah.
You could be my conscience." And she's like, "Get."
This is why I feel like his active influence her is over. Because every scene beyond the middle, it's not just emoting less, it's feeling less, it's being less. That's why I think it's more active and passive.
Yeah, and that's over. So Creepy Boy's gone.
Yes.
Creepy episode done.
And she chooses her real family. But she did get laid. So good for her, I guess.
Likely multiple times.
Yes.
Yep. Anyway, that's it for that episode.
Season 3, episode 8, The Price. We're not expecting many super chats this week or today, obviously. But you know, I'd love to see another 20 before we end. That would be nice as we finish off our review. We'll definitely go short on purpose. I feel like is a good option here.
It's just garbage.
As
Like I said, going into this one, had different memories of it. I thought the wormhole part and the exploring with the Ferengi was a little bit more detailed. I remember this episode when I hear Barzan wormhole, I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty fun episode where the Ferengi get left in the Delta Quadrant.
Yep. So
I have good memories of the episode, but I don't remember the main bulk of it, which is this stupid shit with this guy. So on that note, I mean, I don't like this episode very much.
Okay, let me find my score sheet again so I can get
Yeah.
that up.
Well, Sharp 2026 puts in €549.
You. That's brilliant, thanks.
What was the Federation offering for the wormhole, considering they don't use money? Membership of the Federation is free, I assume. I don't know, like... I don't know, that's a good question.
Well, it's a barter system. It's resources and technology.
Yeah.
I mean, they're post-first contact, but pre-warp. So they can offer them... I know there's a screen cap, but it's a bit blurry. So they can offer them, resources, dilithium... things. I mean, things are useful, things are unique, and I'm sure, obviously the Barzan people have everything going for them, so they could say, well, we'd love to have replicator technology, we'd love this and this and this. And obviously it's up to the Federation Council to decide if they're okay with speed up a planet's development or not, given the fact that Ferengi would just give them replicators and warp drive that day,
Yeah.
But I'm sure they got clearance to share, well, not most things, but I mean, resources and basic tech. Probably, I mean, not warp drive. That's too far. That'd be a big change. But because we know they're over Barzan at the start, and they send a shuttle pod to the wormhole, implying it's literally like between the moon and Earth. It's very, very close. I mean, it's in
dangerously close to their planet.
Oh yeah, dangerously close. Absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah. As far as ranking this thing...
Give us some scores, guys, yourself as well, please. We'd love to hear your scores. And Super Chat scores, $15 more would be nice.
Super Chat scores and just regular scores, please. All right, so for Season 3, this is going to get a... Look at a 2.5 out of 10, because there are some interesting moments in it. I do like the wormhole stuff, and, the Ferengi creeping on the girls at the bar was kind of funny. Because it's he's meant to be creepy, he's a Ferengi.
Well, it's in character, which helps.
Yeah. And just the Ferengi doing their thing and getting trapped in the Delta Quadrant, which ties into a better episode for Voyager. Mm-hmm. So this has this going for it. So I'm gonna give it 2.5 for Season 3.
And this is also the first real Ferengi episode.
Yeah. Like actual Ferengis, not.
Yeah.
And then we get for all of TNG. I'm gonna have to give it a 2 for all TNG. not the worst thing. It's got a few redeeming qualities in it, but it's just not enough. Like I said, if you just watch the Wormhole stuff, it's like, what, 10, 15 minutes of content?
Yeah. And Christopher Rollins asks, how does the economies of the future work, or future planets? They don't use money and they've got infinite resources. Why bother with trade in the first place? Haven't got infinite resources. Lots of resources can't be replicated. Most can't. Most higher elements. I mean, you can replicate base, simple things, but you can't replicate dilithium or deuterium or...
Play Armada, man. You got to get those dilithium moons. You got to mine that. You got to go to the clouds to get whatever they get from the nebulas.
Deuterium, I think. Yeah, I mean, stuff to generate power is not replicatable, so you've got to mine resources, and you've got to power those resources to mine resources, and then some resources are better than others, some things are better than others, like you can have higher end dilithium that you have to find, you can't grow it, so you have to go to specialist places, so if the dilithium plant that makes the best dilithium goes to all starships, and you can sell dilithium because it's easier, and sell for other resources. There is money in the Ferengi government, so if you want to if you want to barter with a Ferengi, you can give him something, he can give you some credits, you can then buy something, because, you understand the idea of money in terms of bartering. Money is just bartering with a fixed amount, It's just in your world, there isn't. But no one needs food or water or clothes unless you want something special. And I think there is a real value on real stuff. You can get a replicated watch or a real watch made by people. One you can say is a real, it becomes a cool thing. Or you can replicate a book or a vintage book. I mean, there's a difference, a tangible difference of quality. So bartering items and what is the confusing one though is I just watched the one Homefront with Cisco's dad. He has a restaurant. Well, he gets fresh fish, fresh ingredients. He's not selling them for money. But people aren't. I'm assuming they're going to give him like hologram. Because like in Voyager they have replicated rations. I'm assuming he's been paying like rations and tokens and stuff for other resources. Because if it costs resources to make power, not everyone has unlimited power in their replicator. I'm sure they only have a daily allowance, which is enough for everything you want. But if you want like a 31 course meal, well, that's too much power. There's still limits to. It's not infinite. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So you want to give your scores before I read the...
Well, you can read the Super Chat ones and I'll dial back on the non ones.
It's not fair. You always get to hear mine and then everybody else's and then you make your own.
Okay, fine. I'll do mine then. Jesus.
No, it's fine. I'll read these. Fine. No, it's fine. Eugene, 500 rubles. Well, the concept of an episode and many things in it are 7 out of 10. But Troi and sleazy CF fiends are horrendous. So 3.5 out of 10.
Still almost double you, though.
Sorry about the wormhole. It's $2. 1.25 out of 10. My score went down because I'm pissed. You. Hoping you're not pissed at us. But Jeff Jacobs puts in $2. 100 sweet. Let's get to 130. 2 out of 10 with sleaze. 7 out of 10 without. I'm not going to give it a without and with score because no.
I mean, to be fair, I have done it for a couple of things but this one is just so intertwined,
Yeah, it's not an A-B plot, really. It's all focusing on the guy. Like, he's in all of it, so...
It's an A with a D plot. Literally and figuratively.
With an F plot, Ferengi.
An FD plot. That escalated beautifully. But Turning has an interesting comment. Hey guys, guess what? I went to a hairdresser today. What? How? Where? What? How?
Yeah, some are open here too. I gotta go soon. So.
Really? That's shocking.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, my initial gut reaction was like a 2 out of 10 for season 2. Because you can't go 1. You gotta average out the good and the bad. So it's not fair to give it a 2, to give it a 1, when like the child is much worse, right? There's nothing good there. There are moments of good here, but it's a story that remove everything with the guy, put everything back in with the wormhole. It would be better, but it doesn't come down well, and yeah, it's just a part of week. So I think 2 out of 10 for season 10, season 3, because it's a strong season. So in comparison,
you say 2 out of 10 for season 10?
I did, because there's a 2/10 on my notes, so I saw a 10.
Gotcha.
But honestly, yeah, I think I'll agree with you there. So 2 out of 10 for all TNG, because like I said, it's not a bad episode. It's a episode like the clip shows a shitty episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just insulting in an insulting audience sort of way. This is insulting to being a male, being a female, relationships, people. But only for about 15 minutes of it is insulting. Only 50.
Social commentary, I guess, on abuse, but
it's not though. It's not though. The message isn't there at the end. There isn't though. Oh god, it only works. Yeah.
I mean, it kind of is, because she basically tells him to piss off, right?
But not
Where
because
he's like,
of the abuse factor. Just because she doesn't fancy him.
Oh, because he lied and didn't tell anybody that he had empathic powers.
But that's not the you seduced me with rape me with powers. You came, I mean, hey, who's to say in the future you can't have casual sex more? Sure, fine, whatever. I mean, look at Star Trek Beyond. Everyone's screwing everyone for the first 10 minutes. That's fine. It's just the way you go about it.
Yeah. All right, let's read. Oh, I already read these scores. Never mind.
There's a new one though.
Radio. £2. Ferengi. Huma. Do I have something in my teeth? LOL.
Well, you have a lack of teeth in this in the view screenshot. But guys, final 5 minutes. Any last minute super chats? I think about $5 to $7 left, and I will hit my personal goal. Years.
I'm gonna judge you as you give your. No, you already gave your scores.
So 3.5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 4.5 out of 10 wormholes, 3.5, 5, 3.75, 5, 4.5, 3. I felt weird judging it harsher because we actually had to review it. Like, how many of those people give me scores actually watched it?
Yeah, I had to take time out of my day to watch this piece of shit.
More than, wow. And the pictures and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and do screen cap and note.
Yep. No, seriously, how many have actually watched this one? Because I know we do give the entire story, so you don't have to actively watch it to watch the review, which is fine. How many people actually watched it though? I know Jill did because she always does, but how many actually did that? Ozzy 3.5, Becky 3, Matt Ballman 4.5. That's actually not bad, Matt. Like Dan 23 5 out of 10. Really? Wow, that's surprising. Because you gave one recently that was like a 1 out of 10, and that one's definitely better than this one. Well, for us anyway. Good old game of 5 out of 10 would have been 8 if not for the Troi plot. That's too high, I think. But obviously, if you take out 20 minutes and put another 20 minutes back in, you could make it better. Hold on. 6 out of 10 from Stereo Contus. Beats people up for a living. Yeah, cool.
Jonathan Bell, 2.5 out of 10. See you there. Somebody agree with us.
There you go. Yeah, I was just thinking in comparison to this season, Like, if this is in season 1, it'd probably be like a 5.
Yeah, this would be a better one in season 1 for sure.
But it's just there's so many good ones. But I'll be surprised if there is actually a worse one in this season. Because it's just averagely bad.
But yeah, I think there are.
I don't know, because this isn't as bad as A Child or as Code of Honor in terms of for their season, but it's bad for this season.
Like the next episode also sucks, so the vengeance factor.
I'm excited for the one after that though, because I don't know what happens in it. The High Ground. I have no idea what happens in that. I just don't.
Oh, the Hunted.
No, High Ground. The one after the one after.
Oh.
I like the Hunted a lot. I'm excited to see if that holds up as well.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I don't want to give you preconceptions before going in. So.
Yeah. I wonder if Sarek's gonna hold up. Because I remember sort of liking it, but maybe not as much as I could like. I'm looking at the lines, and I don't know what would be worse than this. Just in terms of it doesn't work. I don't know.
Worse than this? No, there's some on the same level. I don't know about worse.
Yeah.
Next 3 are kind of garbage, honestly. And Tin Man is pretty fucking.
At least the actor's good. Like the Tin Man guy, at least he gives off.
I can't picture him right now.
That's fair.
All I keep thinking is silent as a whisper or whatever that guy. Whenever I think Tin Man, I mix Tin Man up with that mute guy, the deaf guy.
Really?
From Silence Has Lease. Yeah, I don't know why.
Because hearing is tinny.
No idea. I'm just telling you that what goes on in my brain.
strange.
I don't remember Tin Man, and what I do remember of the ship and stuff, I think is kind of stupid. So
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But in terms of people saying, Ozzy says he watched it last week on BBC Channel. Clay watched it last week because he wanted to be ready for this episode. Ryan K haven't watched it, so remember it. Brendan not in years. Jill did. Eugene did last week.
now I remember the guy from Tin Man. That's why I get them confused. They both have like red, fluffy hair.
He's the principal in Buffy who eats people. Becky watched it earlier this month. Yeah.
People are going to be pissed with me when it comes to Tin Man. Everybody's saying, "Oh, it's such a good episode." And maybe it is. Maybe I'll like it when I see it again. I don't know.
Hey, the universe beat you down on Pulaski, so
No, the good writing and good character beat me down on Pulaski. I just don't know. From what I remember, Tin Man, I don't like that episode. I'll actively avoid that episode.
yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, I mean, we've had ones in this one where, well, it's like last week. I thought I liked it more, and rewatching, like, nope, doesn't hold up as well. It's not as strong as I remember. So,
this one I do enjoy just because of the Ferengi and the getting stranded. I think that's the best part of this.
Oh, yeah.
And then the fact it ties into Voyager.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind rewatching this one for those scenes anyway.
Well, like I said, as a concept, it's a great concept, and it could have been a big deal. I mean, the first day wormhole in Star Trek history, that's a big deal. There's a whole show around that concept later on. The other first stable wormhole ever. Now it would have been fun, not to fix the story even more, but if it was just about this. If it was just about the wormhole, it would have been kind of fun if they did get stranded in the Delta Quadrant, and they have to work together. Okay, I'll wait for a moment.
Yes.
So yeah, picture this. So it's all about wormhole only, and the thing closes or shifts, and all four of them in the Delta Quadrant are like, "Oh shit," and they start communicating, and the Ferengi are like, "No, we can solve this by ourselves," and Data's like, "No, we can't. We need both shuttles together." So he thinks that they can resonate the harmonics of the polaron matrix, frequency generation, positronic, ultra span, brain, spandex to get the wormhole back, to anchor it back for less than a minute. And so they work together, but the Ferengi end up saying, "No, we think this is going to work every time, so we're going to stay here." And then now we have control of the wormhole, And so it actually elongates the plot, and then you get some tension between the two captains, and you get like cut to the Ferengi ship and see them dealing with how they would deal with this. You could have extended it and have them be stuck. That'd have been kind of fun.
Yeah, get rid of the rapey scenes. Fill it with other stuff.
Alright guys, so final super chat and we can head out for today. Yeah, what are your, if any, live plans for the weekend? I watched both of your reveal the bookshelf lives.
Oh yes. I don't know what I'm doing yet. We'll see. Honestly, don't know. I do want to do something this weekend though, as far as the live goes. So I was going to do one last night and completely forgot about it until like 11 o'clock. And then I'm like, oh, shit. I'm just not going to even bother right now.
Yeah.
But I got too busy and some other stuff came up. And then I sat down and it's like, shit.
Yeah. It was like one of those last Saturdays, it was like 7. I was like, oh, wait. Episodes are meant to come out on Saturday. Shit.
We have our moments.
It's because, especially during Picard, I wasn't uploading videos because I've got several done. There is a buffer ready to go, but I like them being in the order of release because YouTube keeps the order as you upload them. So I could upload the next month, but then we'd have videos that come out between that. And it would, if you did an Eagles review or something, it would start to ruin the order. So it's like, I'll do it close to the day. I just happen to not do it on the Friday, as I tend to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but click like if you can, and And,
Like for us, and a review, not the episode.
You know what? A like for us is a dislike for this episode. So click like if you dislike this episode.
Yeah. And Dan23 is saying the Defector is good. Well, we're not going to look at the Defector because we already did. So if you think that that's going to be after the next one, then you're wrong.
And we know you're here every week, and we know you've
That's
heard us
why-
talk about that we're not doing the Defector.
Yeah. That would have broken up the shit episodes, in my opinion. If you missed it, go watch our Defector review if you want to see that.
January 13th, 2020.
No sense doing it twice.
No.
Yeah.
And that was a glowing
No
score.
sense doing it twice.
I don't know what... I have to work out what we gave for that, but that was absolutely... Oh, that's funny. That was when I had my... that was when the background was just paper. Guys, it's amazing how it's the exact same paper, and yet this looks like a background, that looks like paper. That's so strange. Wow. That's funny. That was a very good one.
All the likes have been squeezed, says Brendan.
Yeah. Sean O'Neill, a comment on this video. What do you think of this episode? Irrelevant! What do you think of this review? Irrelevant! What do you think of Trekyards? Irrelevant!
Oh, sorry about the wormhole. Says, hey Samuel, where is this shadow ship I bought?
There. I don't know if you can see. Is it?
No, you can't
just
see
off
it.
Frame.
It's up there at the top. See it?
Yeah. I'm so
Right.
flipped in this. Next.
There you go. There it is. There it is.
Next
Yep.
to the Renegades D7, the Galaxy X, Defiant. Enterprise. I mean, well, that's a lot of Klingon ships actually in the corner. I never realized.
Oh,
Battleship, Ferengi. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. And Horizon. A lot of good stuff up there.
yeah. So they're there, guys. But a lot of times, with the way it's cropped and framed, it just might be out of frame a little bit. So
So I don't like showing the actual neat, untidy edges, so I tend to crop. I mean, you know, I've been cropping and swapping a little bit recently, just for other projects, so having more crop.
Yeah.
Ones.
Yeah.
Matt Bowman, there she is. There
Plus,
she is.
your camera's still tilted, so your background's tilted in the frame. It's kind of.
There's the
Yeah, I
monitor.
know.
Like, is that right? Because now the monitor's totally wrong.
No, that's right. Yeah, there you go. Straight.
Yeah, this monitor is not straight on the monitor. That is. Okay.
Yeah, not a big deal, but you know. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this review.
I think you had fun because we didn't. I mean, well, it's like no one watches the Plinkett videos to watch you enjoy things. You know?
Hi, we're Trekyards. We watched it, so you didn't have.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if it wants to be last super chat, guys, we have to vamp until
We haven't got a super chat yet.
I mean,
I thought we got one. I thought we got.
no, you didn't read it. So I mean, it's your job to read
Hold
it.
on, where that was it? Look out to it. Oh yeah, it's the human. Do I have something in my teeth? That's the last one. But yeah.
You're welcome, Brendan. And thanks, Matt. Welcome back to your house. Because Matt went on an airplane recently.
Ooh.
Pretty radical. Apparently it was normal and fine. It was pretty radical.
Cool.
Yes. Oh, did you get you know that thing that you bought from eBay recently that we helped you with?
Yes.
Has it been sent yet?
Probably sent. I think it was sent, but it might take a while to get here. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just wondering, because reasons. So I wanted to. Cool.
Yep. Don't worry, you'll be one of the first to know as soon as I get it.
I hope. Well, no, I'm not going to hope, but I better be. I better be. No, nobody.
No, I think we're good. Let's go.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody. We love you.
Bye. Goodbye, humans.
Come
I'm
on.
very proud of my art. My little doodle. Literally took me like a minute and a half. Doodle-doodle-doodle.
Bye, guys.
Bye.